it doesn't.
Alive! It's alive! It's alive!
This is Joe.
You got the wrong guy. I'm the dude, man.
And I got the squeeze!
And this is Rich.
I won't go schizo, will I? Is a distinct possibility.
When in fact it was an unauthorized hunt.
And together we present to you.
Hey guys, I think we're about to crash into the sun.
Yeah, but it's gonna look really cool. The Motley!
Perhaps you should deactivate your emotion chip for now.
You're sitting having an itch you can never scratch.
Okay, one and all, it's that time again. This is a monthly itch, and I got my good friend Joe.
Here I am,
Yes, here he is.
rocking you like a hurricane.
Hopefully no more singing involved in this intro as well.
It is the music news segment of our little podcast we have here. I think it's entitled.
I think so. It's a music news for this month.
Excellent!
And Joe, my good friend.
Hello, sir.
Firstly, how you doing?
I'm doing as well as can be, my friend, as well as can be.
I know. We've been looking at the music news for this month, and
It's depressing as fuck.
we are going to try and keep it as entertaining as possible in certain ways. It's hard to explain, really.
You'll learn to understand once we give you the rundown of the headlines we'll be covering in tonight's episode.
So far, this is not blowing my skirt up, gentlemen.
Because it's going to be emotional.
The thing is, we have developed this idea of a monthly itch, especially the music news. We want to bring you the latest on what is happening in the music community of metal, rock and punk. And there's been no shortage of news.
Bad news.
It's
Really, really bad
It sucks,
news.
and we're not trying to put people off from listening to us, because we have got a few fun headlines as well, and a few things that are quite uplifting, but ultimately
This is going to be very sad.
this is. But please, stick with us. Firstly,
Is there anybody hiding there in the dark?
we just have to say, as we previously said about the independent voice, thank you so much for having us on board.
I'm surprised they've let us last even beyond this point.
What has it been, one or two? It's been.
I think we managed to sneak in two now.
Wow. We're definitely not listening to something. Anyway, Joe, please just tell the audience, if they do not know already, what is the Independent Voice?
The Independent Voice is a website dedicated to bringing you the latest news happening around the world, covering many of our favorite metal, punk, and underground bands.
Fantastic.
They're great. You can find out about all the latest festivals there. You can see media streaming, including our very own show there,
Oh, yeah.
as featured on. And they just basically do a kick-ass job all around in bringing you absolutely everything your needs should want.
It's great, especially, because, of course, me and yourself are big in loving to listen to new and upcoming bands and all that.
I follow it on a daily basis.
And, I've gone on the site many a times, looked at a review, and the reviews are absolutely superb. They say what is needed to be said, and the reviews are spot on most of the time as well. It's great for, if you're a music fan,
It's a good, reliable source to find out about what new is happening.
and in this culture nowadays where there's a lot of portals, you can actually, magazines.
Oh, you can get lost.
Yeah, you can get lost, but please check them out if you're not checking them out already. It's great for all the latest interviews and all that kind of stuff.
And many more things, of which some of the things we're actually going to be talking and covering in today's episode.
Yeah.
So, I won't keep the audience in suspense much longer. I will just crack on and give you guys the lowdown.
The lowdown. These are the headlines.
Okay, first up on our agenda, the band Vital Remains.
Nice.
Well, they performed a show down, I don't actually recall where in America it was, but it was involving a cop from Florida.
Yeah.
He was in attendance on duty at this show, and he got himself into a spot of bother.
Really?
Yep, and we will cover that all in due time.
Okay, I'm interested in this one. So, a cop at Vital Remains is in trouble. I hope it's not a bad news story, to be honest.
Well,
that sounds like a...
Let's be honest, it's involving the cops, America, and the news, so you know it's going to be bad.
Does it involve any black people by any chance?
It involves every type of people, and we're going to be talking about that in further detail.
Yeah, I'm interested in that one. Excellent. What's the next one?
Next up, we have... This is where we kind of have to now take a slight corner and the grey clouds start emerging.
Right,
in the
here we go.
skies. We're going to be talking about an incident, a shared incident, not at the same time, but two bands that we know, they involved themselves in pretty much the same kind of accident. What I'm referring to is Fear Factory and the band Ghost Inside, involved in bus crashes recently.
I know, it's absolutely... I know within the metal community and rock community, there has been a lot of incidences, as you know, with... accidents has happened that have actually shaped the way bands are. Look at, Metallica, what happens. It's an incident, and, doing a tour dates and everything like that, the way they get around the country is normally by, of course, the bus services. And
it's the best way to get across that massive land of theirs.
Yeah, so, a lot of instances happen when you're actually touring at that kind of rate and everything, because that's where the money is. The touring band, you need to go around and do all the smallest venues, and the bus is probably... Tour bus is the most important thing.
Economically speaking, financially, it's the cheapest way, most effective and kind of convenient way for them to get about the place,
Right, okay, so that's the headline we're going to talk about later.
Yep, and that will bring us to Motorhead.
Oh, yes, fucking hell.
I love Motorhead, man.
I love them as well.
And
they've very soon as well.
Yeah, and I really hope they do, because...
Why?
Well, there's just a whole slew of bad things happening to them right now. I don't know what's jinxed them recently, but we've talked about Lemmy's misfortunes in the past, health-wise. But now we're going to be covering the guitarist Phil Campbell. Yeah, recently hospitalized, and that's just one other member we of course all know and we'll talk about at length coming up.
Of course.
Phil the Filthy Animal Taylor, the drummer of Motorhead
I've
at one
heard
point
about
in time.
this. Yeah, there's great tributes that were coming out in the community about that as well.
Yes, unfortunately he's no longer with us, and we wish all the best to his family and every other fan of his out there. And we'll be discussing and giving a proper eulogy in all due respect to the man.
Of course. He shaped, the drumming wise, the backbones
of that band. Yeah, and whilst we're on the very sad topic of legends leaving us, there's another unfortunate passing that's happened, which
Who's
is
that?
Frank Watkins.
Oh, obituary.
And the bass player of Gorgoroth.
Of course, yeah.
He had a alias with Gorgoroth. I don't know if I'm going to pronounce it right. It's got an X through the O syllable in it. So I'm going to try and...
We're doing it in that English.
Here we go. Boxdel.
Right, okay, that's close enough.
I think that's how you pronounce it.
Well, it's a good way. I got a lot of saliva framed my way, to be honest, when you've done that. But
I'm terribly sorry to you and also Frank Watkins for not probably dealing with his untimely passing at such a young age with all the respect and sensitivity.
He was battling, I believe, wasn't it cancer or something?
It was. We'll talk more about it.
Yeah, of course.
Later on in the show, but you're absolutely right. That's how he departed this world.
And I believe it leads us to our final topic, which is the elephant in the room, basically.
It's the gargantuan woolly mammoth.
Jesus.
We've got no choice. We've got to bring it up. It's affected everyone across the world. It's bigger than just the music scene, but we're going to try and bring into context from a musical perspective the tragedies have happened in Paris recently. Yeah,
the equals of death metal. I believe, we if it was, like Iraq and all that kind of stuff, I don't feel, music-wise that would actually be needed for our podcast. Because this is about the music news, but this is almost like our Pearl Harbor of, everyone who enjoys music and enjoys the live atmosphere of music as soon as that started hitting, it's bringing me goosebumps right now, because anyone I know, all my friends who love live music, could have been equally in that situation, and the tour, and let's not start yet.
No, let's put a small pin in that.
That's right. We are going to talk about it, and we're going to speak our views. We are just two idiots talking
Massive
what's
idiots.
on our minds at the moment. Opinions are, as much as we know, a lot of people probably know a bit more, but we are going to grasp onto this as much as possible and try and make it as delicate as possible, because we have got views. We want to open a conversation. That's what a podcast is about. It's about getting the community together,
Sharing, everyone exchanging ideas and opinions.
exactly, and
love above and beyond everything else. I mean, this is one of the reasons that we're kind of not putting the whole emphasis behind this is the main one reason, but it's a large factor to do with the contributing aspects of why we're in this situation now, which is everyone leave the hate at the door, come together under love, respect each other, and let's talk and see how we can sort this out.
Yeah, I think the communication, it will help a lot of people. I didn't know anyone who was physically involved in that, but I know a lot of people who've actually been listening and looking and experiencing what has happened this month in a lot of ways.
It's getting emotional, man.
It is.
The voices are sort of starting to choke up. I think we've got to get
Right.
on into the stories now.
Let's get to the first story. Let's bring it to. Let's have an enjoyable story. Let's start it off with an enjoyable.
Well, I don't know how
story.
enjoyable it can be with
Well,
this. I mean, a man's
cop-
lost his job now.
They took our job! They took our job! They took your job!
He lost his job.
That's the
What
story.
the fuck did this cop do?
Christ's sakes, will you cover yourself?
Okay, I
Fucking hell. Jesus Christ. Okay, this is Vital Remains. I love Vital Remains. I think they are fucking brilliant.
I think they're great too.
Look at that. He's making me cry.
I've seen them on many occasions, and
Good show.
yeah,
Great
very
music.
good show. Right, so, right, okay, this is not a joke. It's not a run-up for, it's not a punchline or anything. But there was a cop at a Vital Remains show in Florida. What happened?
Not sure I deserve that.
Well, apparently. See, it gets a little bit murky as you kind of look more into the story, because on the surface it was presenting itself as there was a cop at a Vital Remains show and he got swept up in everything, was a metal fan, and he crowd surfed and he was just having a good laugh.
Well,
And he got rumbled, and now people are like, "Hey, you Mr. Policeman, you should not be
this is
conducting
Florida.
one."
This ain't Texas.
I've only
Is
got
that the only
That's
American?
the only American.
Hey, Mr. America.
Oh man.
This is a caliber of what you're listening to right now,
Let
guys.
me just try and get through my shtick.
Can the beaver come out and play?
Okay, let's pretend it's in Texas, even though it's Florida.
I'll tell you what, man.
Okay, right, okay, so, so a police officer, let me just take it this way. What was he in civil?
Oh, he was fully uniformed up.
Oh, he was uniformed up.
Dude was on duty, man.
Listen, hotshot, I'm going to tell you something right now. I don't care for you or for the putrid sludge you're troweling out.
Like he was.
What, inside the actual venue?
Yeah, he must have been.
I suppose.
They skim on those kind of details.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
But you don't know if he was working security
Right,
or
so-
whatever it was. I don't know.
Did you? There was a YouTube thing. I think getting it back more to home. There was a London clip in the YouTube, and I think it was what's that festival that goes North London?
There's a lot of festivals in North London.
It's very colourful. I've never been
Notting
to
Hill
it. Notting
Carnival.
Hill Carnival. Yeah, it was one of those, and there was people, just a load of crowd, and they're doing all the music on the. Kind of, not.
That's the ones I've been to.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
So that's what that feels like.
Right, and this cop in full uniform decided to actually start dancing.
It's party time. P-A-R-T. Why? Because I gotta.
And doing a
Oh,
robot
you got-
and all that kind of stuff. He
Yeah.
was going for
He
it.
got into the festivities.
Yeah, very much so. And he got suspended, or he got quite a big telling off because he should be looked in as a if you're wearing a
Authoritarian,
uniform,
yeah.
I'm a authoritarian.
I'm a cop, and you will respect my authority.
Respect my
Respect. But yeah, and
Respect.
Who the hell are you?
Respect a gay cop.
If you were gay,
This is going downhill very quickly.
So this cop,
Yeah, and he started doing, I think he'd done the leg thing.
Okay.
You know, when you put your leg behind.
oh, you do the whole body popping,
Yeah.
leg locking.
It's on YouTube. You must check it out because it's awesome. My argument to that, it shows they're human.
Come quietly or there will be trouble.
They're not just robots. I've got a great respect, and I don't care what other people's opinions are on this one. I think the police do a very fucking hard job.
No problemo.
And there is some bad ones, but there are also some extremely good ones.
There's good and bad in every kind of form.
Exactly.
Mr. Carr, how good to see you. Oh, if only someone I knew felt that way.
And you can't, castrate a whole, metropolitan police or, police force.
Just because one extremist part of a nation do bad things does not mean you tarnish the whole
Exactly.
brush with
But the thing
everyone
is, when I
else.
saw it and everyone's cheering and everyone's getting in a festive mood and all that, it was fucking awesome. So, if I see a cop on stage or stage diving on a Vital Remains...
Crowd surfing.
Oh, was it crowd surfing?
I think so, yeah. That's what it said in the story.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I actually, whilst we were talking, I
He
just...
might have lost a shoe like we all do.
Oh, jeez. And there's one person in the middle of a pit going, whose shoes this? And you're hopping around going, it's fucking mine! You're being pushed around and going, fucking yeah!
A shoe!
My shoe's over there!
And
It's like-
not walking home with a sock on.
How many times have you just came out of a venue and you're hopping around going, oh, fuck's sake.
Mates either side of your arm. Sorry, guys.
Sorry, guys, yeah. But no, actually, whilst we were talking, I've just got it up on my laptop right now.
Aye.
I've got another story to this. I don't know, whether it elaborates what you're on, but it actually does say he got up on stage and he actually done vocals.
What? he did vocals for
Seriously,
Vital Remains?
yeah. This is. I don't know how true. Okay, Floyd. I've just put it up right, and it says Floyd the cop fired after singing "Vital Remains."
Was fired for other outstanding issues.
Yes.
Other outstanding issues. What? So it wasn't just this. The guy
I don't
had
know.
Deeper.
I found a photo online, and it's of a guy with the full uniform on.
Yeah, man.
And the Vital Remains people around him.
Back the fuck up. Back up.
And he's got a mic up to him, and it looks like he's really fucking going.
He's
for
giving
it.
some gutturals right there.
He is
man.
doing, he's doing some proper,
Some death metal.
So, yeah. And so personally wise,
Hey, dude's a metal fan. Fucking A.
yeah, and Vital Remains metal fan as well. It takes all time. That's why the community is so great.
We'll tear your soul apart.
This is why I love it, because you can go to a metal gig and you got people on all different sizes. You got people who, have so many backgrounds.
Yep.
And
All from different walks of life.
and everyone's included because it is that kind of
That shared common love.
denominator, which is the
Yeah.
music. It's you're a fan of music.
There you go.
And okay, so it says the other outstanding issues, right?
Yeah, actually, now that you pulled it up and I've seen a little bit more of the story, it says that he actually was already going to be let go from the force.
I heard what Harris said, and he's wrong.
It happens to me all the time. People just don't understand me.
Well, maybe if you talked a little slower, a little softer.
That's not what I meant. I mean, people don't know who I really am. Now I got worried about my diction, too.
This was just kind of like moving him closer to his end date.
Well, yeah, it's like anything. When something comes out and it makes the certain police force look bad, you're gonna get these bigwigs that turn around and say, actually, it's not to do with that. It's to do. We're not discriminative of any forms of music community.
Yeah, I actually don't mind that, man, because instead of metal being blamed for for a poor guy losing his welfare and income,
Your move, creep.
it's quite nice for them to say, actually, no.
He was a fuck up to
begin
with. Yeah.
He put an officer, a trainee, a rookie in serious fucking peril.
Yeah, you've read that as well. Yeah. He was going to be. There was a discipline hearing or something, because he didn't have his body camera on.
So I'm just trying to get a rise out of you, that's all, for shits and giggles.
During a community contact, and also he placed a training officer in a situation that could later was not equipped to handle. But then again,
Is there a problem, officers?
I don't think so. It's because when I'm reading through the statement he's actually got, it was received some form of discipline. This guy got fucking fired. Right?
Oh, so they moved it. No. It does say he was going to get let go because of these incidents. These were the outstanding issues where he was actually going to, like, his end date was, like, say, the 5th of December or something.
Right,
But because he did this shit with Vital Remains, it's now the 2nd of December.
Yeah, but it's still, it was... he must...
Yeah, but it wasn't because he jumped up on stage with Vital Remains. Like, it didn't help. Didn't
if
win
he
any
was going to
extra
go out, he
points.
was going to go in the fucking blaze of fire, mate.
I can kind of respect that, man.
I
It's
think
just
so.
like, it's like, what's that famous Simpsons quote where they're just like, hey, could you get your job back at the whatever it place was? Not the way I quit.
yeah. Oh, that was an awesome episode. But yeah, well, I tell you something. As someone who loves these type of stories, I think I'll tip me imaginary cap to him because I think it's great. I think
it's made me chuckle once this month.
Yeah.
Out of all the rest of the depressing doom and gloom.
Well, yeah, you need stories like this to, a bit of a fuck off type story to actually start you off.
Something, some kind of little fresh air to blow away all the depressing cobwebs surrounding and entrapping you at the current moment.
I think that's probably what happened. He knew he was going to be let go. He thought, fuck it, I'm at a gig with one of my favourite bands. I'm gonna get on stage and I'm gonna give a big fuck you to the police force for fucking doing all this shit. Yeah, right. But okay, so yeah, I think that covers that story quite a bit.
I think that's as much as we can say about that. Because
and personally wise, I think if you are in the police force, let's see you get on stage more because you have our respect anyway. We're two idiots.
Only if you let me up there with you. That's fair, dude.
Anyway, I'm now gonna. This is where the mood changes slightly.
You're reaching for the Kleenex, I can see.
Not in the way you think.
The next couple of stories are of a much serious nature. To respect the people involved, we felt it was not right to add our usual samples and special effects. Please understand the Monthly Itch likes bringing you the most entertaining podcast but also the latest news, good or bad. We like to also warn you that latest updates since this recording has come to light and this is based on the information at the time. We ask everyone to have a listen and please get involved in the conversation. Hopefully next month will bring better news. Thanks. The Monthly Itch.
Nah, we've got to drop it down a bit because, as I said, we've got to talk about serious news that's going on at the moment. But I've read this article as well. I'm talking about the Ghost Inside accident that's happened.
Yeah. The bus incident.
As much as it is tragic, it's the aftermath that I'm going to focus on, but I want you to explain the story for those who do not know about it first.
Basically, there's a band called Ghost Inside, and they were out in the States touring around, and they had a pretty extreme bus accident where it involved two of the drivers losing their lives.
I've just seen some photos.
It's quite a devastating image.
It is absolutely disgraced.
It's heavy stuff.
How it's just, it looks like it's just been there's nothing left of it. I don't know how they survived.
It looks like the Hulk's run past them.
Yeah. If this is kind of stuff you would see on the...
Yeah, I mean, it's not just a little bit of debris. There is smashed up wreckage all over the place.
It's hard to actually look at, to be honest. So I'm going to take that image off the screen and carry on, my friends.
Okay, well, I mentioned the unfortunate passing of the drivers of the bus. But to the band members, apparently unharmed, except for the drummer. The drummer has actually been issued into the ICU, their hospital.
Thoughts go out to him, and to be honest, you said there was 2 killed as well.
The bus drivers, yeah.
Jesus Christ! So it's no. We're going to get on to more of a psychological state of people's reactions, but of course, those people stuck in that bus. They're going to be dealing with a lot of demons for a lot of time. Yeah, for a band to actually come back from this.
I dare anyone to be able to not shake that off in their lifetime.
Yeah, it's especially when there's fatalities to the actual situation. But on the flip side of this story,
there is a small ray of hope within this, because as I mentioned, there's nothing you can do for the deceased drivers. But the drummer, who was the one that was critically injured, there's been
medical bills, isn't there?
An extreme amount of medical bills accumulating, and what people have done, the fans and the band members and the family and everyone who works around them.
Right. Okay.
They've got almost like a fundraiser, a Kickstarter page where you can actually donate to help raise money for his medical bills to cover the costs.
Right.
It's a fairly substantial figure that's required. It's to the realms of $150,000.
$150,000. I tell you something. Those people listening to us who are based in the UK, which is probably majority, thank God for the NHS.
Until they sell it off.
Oh, I don't know. That's a different conversation for another day. I don't want to get into it. It's as depressing as it is, to be honest.
Yeah.
But it's $150K.
Yes, $150,000.
Wow. Okay.
That's $250,000.
Right. So they're going on like a Kickstarter type thing. Is that right?
Yes. Well, it's a kind of another version of that.
All right.
I want to tell everyone listening out, if you want to donate to the Ghost Inside's drummers' medical bills, please go over to a website called gofundme.com.
Oh, fantastic.
And basically there's a page set up there, much like you're probably used to with Kickstarter, where you can log in, donate some money. There is a kind of reward scheme where if you're able to donate up to a certain value, you'll get some kind of item from the band.
Right, okay.
Please see the website for more details, and of course to contribute towards this man's recovery.
Yeah, because it is absolutely tragic when something like this happens. You may be a fan, you may not be a fan, but equally the reason why, as a musician, but also as a fan, these bands are there they put blood, sweat and tears into getting to a certain point, and something as tragic as this happens, I think it shakes our whole community up, and that's another reason why I love the fact that we all do pull together when there's something happens like this.
We do our very best to support one another.
Yeah, even if you're not a big fan of a band or anything, you've got to actually look for them and go, right, I'm going to help these guys out because they do need the help. And there is a band called Bring Me the Horizon.
Yeah, I know. Say what you will about their music. I'm not going to go into it.
Well, it's each to their own.
Absolutely.
That's a thing about opinions.
Yeah, but bottom line is they're human beings, they're artists, they're musicians, they're a part of this scene, and they have a humongous fan base and success, and I wish them the continued success.
Just because it's not a type of stuff we like, it doesn't mean
it does not
takes any
diminish
value.
anything of what they have achieved. And to show you just how great that these guys are, they've already donated $10,000. $10,000.
A big shout out. It doesn't matter whether you're not a big fan of these. I'm going to, once again, tip me imaginary cap to them, because the fact is it just shows how much support there is out in the scene at the moment, and there is people out there that see this kind of tragedy and want to help.
Exactly.
And
I mean, these guys have been friends apparently since 2008. They went on tour together.
Tour fans, yeah.
Well,
so
they went on tour one time, and they became lifelong friends, kind of thing.
That's good.
And
Well,
it's,
it happens.
2015
it happens
now.
to me and you. So.
Precisely, man. But think of that: 7 years after having experienced just one tour, but remaining friends, they still got that kind of love and that want to help, and donated $10,000. Like, say what you will about their music. As people, God bless you guys, man. I hope we can raise to the final
let's
total.
cover, those who listen, and
it's
I'm
possible
sure.
as well. I mean, they're already up to $142,000 raised.
So
I mean, that's such a great number. We're only $8,000 away from raising enough to cover this man's
So
bills.
if those people listening to this podcast, if you can put your hands in your pocket and just help these bands out, as I said, I'm sure me and Joe are going to do something like that. Well, as soon as I saw this and I saw the tragedy of it, it's kind of like it rings quite home that in America, that is the extent of what's going to happen.
Healthcare as well.
Exactly. Jesus Christ.
They need all the help they can get.
Exactly. So that's a bit.
Well, that's just one of the bands. We've got the other one to look to now.
Oh, Jesus Christ, yeah.
Fear Factory.
If one bus crash wasn't enough, Jesus fucking Christ.
It seems like only yesterday we were talking about Fear Factory.
It was.
I'm very sorry to see them in our headlines once again under such tragic circumstances.
Yeah, on the demanufacture tour, I
the
believe.
very thing we were talking about last time, yeah. I mean, Ghost Inside, this was an incident that happened over in America, but for Fear Factory, this was actually doing their European tour in celebration of the 20th anniversary of Demanufacture.
Right.
And they were heading from one place in Germany to Munich when they were suddenly involved in an unexpected incident. Looking from those photos, like you've just pulled up, oh my goodness, man. Like, it's not as bad as Ghost Inside, but the front windshields are all smashed up. It looks like someone's gone through them, but as far as I can report, people have been shocked and obviously shaken up, but everyone survived. Everyone walked away.
That's good. That's good to actually know, because we don't want. There's already been 2 deaths involved in tour of certain. Yeah, we've got Ghost Inside. The only thing we've got to say is, I know this is going to sound really strange, but if you guys do drive out there, remember winter is coming. Please be safe. Please check your tires. Please sort out, because it's going to be a harsh winter coming, and we don't want to hear any friends, family, or band members having this kind of situation happen to them again. I think you concur on that one
I
as well.
completely concur and agree. Please stay safe, people.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, no.
Yes, that's going to kind of conclude that little part of our episode, and we're going to move on to Motorhead.
Yeah. Right, okay.
Man, Motorhead just don't seem to be having a good spell of luck recently.
The last album was absolutely brilliant.
Was it the World Is Yours? Was that the last album title?
I'm drawing a blank to it.
I want to say that was, but they might have actually put one out since then.
They've got an album, Bad Magic. That's what it's called. Bad Magic.
Oh, okay,
okay. Basically, Lemmy, he had a bit of a spurt of bad health.
We touched upon it briefly in our previous episode.
Yeah, we have our opinions. We know they're going to carry on until they drop. But then again, they seem to be dropping, don't they, my friend?
Just a little bit too rapidly for my likings.
Yeah, I know they're legends. I know a lot of people have got them on their, Deadpool list. I know it sounds a bit somber on it, but, they are... What Motorhead have done is similar to, like, the, Ozzy Osbourne, and they're rock and roll. They partied hard in the early days.
I mean, it's hard to kind of break your vision of what these guys represent because of their iconic status. Like, we've all seen that meme of a picture of Keith Richards going around that has the taglines. I think we all need to take a good hard look at what kind of world we're going to leave behind for Keith Richards. And we kind of look at that with Ozzy in mind and with Lemmy in mind. But
even
after
if
what's happened to him recently, now we're kind of having that image of them shaking, and it's uneasy for us to take in.
Well, there was this something, I can't remember what movie it came out on, and the quote was, if there was an apocalypse tomorrow, there'd be cockroaches and Keith Richards.
But now after what's happened with Lemmy and as we kind of roll round to our story,
Yeah.
Phil Campbell, the guitarist, now has been hospitalised.
No.
Yeah.
Phil Campbell.
Yes, the guitarist
Jesus.
of Motorhead. The
Is
worst thing is
any-
that they don't really know what's going on. They're reporting his condition as unknown. All we know is that he's been hospitalised. He's been taken and he's being treated.
He's
or
on
overseen
tour
for
at the
something.
moment, though, isn't he? He's in Berlin or something. Yeah, he was doing around that.
What, with Motorhead?
Yeah, they were doing German dates at the moment.
Were
Is
they
that being all
really?
cancelled? Or
I'm
it
not
must
too
be,
sure.
to be honest.
To be fair, after what's happened with Paris, there's been a lot of bands pulling out of European dates. So
We'll get to that later.
We
as
will
well.
do indeed,
Yeah,
but I
we'll
don't know if
cross
they were
over.
continuing their tour over in that part of the world.
To be
but-
honest, if it was Lemmy and Motorhead, as you said, we saw him on that video on which we briefed upon the last episode where we just saw him come on stage,
Yeah.
and he was on a walking stick, and he done his thing with a bass, and then he had about 5 minutes leaning and walking. I don't think he would stop for anyone. The only person he would stop for is a Grim Reaper, and I hope that does not come very soon.
And Mr. Jack Daniels himself.
Oh yeah, of course, and a few other itineraries. I'm sure he does indulge himself with still.
Oh yeah, we won't mention those.
Yeah. Anyway, but then again, with the health of Phil, which let's hope he makes a speedy recovery.
Absolutely.
Update on this news story is: Motorhead say guitarist Phil Campbell is recovering well from the health problem. We wish him all the best.
I mean, it's not good following the untimely passing of Phil the Filthy Animal Taylor as well, their drummer, who passed away due to liver failure at the age of 61.
Yeah, it's he done some of the most iconic. He was the early part of Motorhead, if I remember
Yeah,
rightly.
he had a bit of an odd stint where he was with them for 9 years, like from 75
but he
to
made
84.
the Ace of Spades, Iron Fist, Bomber. He was the drums
The
behind
big
that.
ones,
Yeah. You hear. I'm sure it was Overkill as well, and you hear those drums thundering on and all that.
Overkill drums are, dude, like iconic, man. Doesn't even do it justice.
The thing is, he hasn't been with a band for a bit of time, but he was what has made, the heavy metal drums is the most iconic part of, the backbone
sound of
and
metal.
the sound of metal, and especially hard rock.
Mm-hmm.
And also, let's not forget punk. Because the way he was drumming, the furious.
Oh yeah, definitely had a lot of punk elements in his drumming.
You could say the same about Moon Loon from The Who.
Keith Moon.
Yeah, Keith Moon. That he was one of the iconic drummers that influenced a generation.
Totally.
And this guy is one of them.
Absolutely, he deserves his spot in the Hall of Fame.
Well, yeah, without a shadow of a doubt, we wouldn't have some of the drummers being influenced from modern metal today and
If
rock.
It wasn't for this man's contributions,
Exactly.
man.
So we raise a glass of Jack Daniels to
to Mr. Phil.
Probably not the
Filthy
best.
Animal
Not best as he died from liver.
Yeah, people are a bit more sensitive about the condition, man.
Yeah, I didn't really think that one through. Did I?
No. Well, I'm scared to mention because since we've got our glasses in the air already,
Yeah, of
let's
course.
also make a toast to Mr. Frank Watkins.
Oh, fucking hell.
We've lost another
Oh,
legend
jeez.
and icon recently, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
What is happening? Stay fucking healthy.
Frank Watkins,
Jeez.
the bass player of Obituary
Yes.
and Gorgoroth,
Yes,
has
yes.
unfortunately passed away due to cancer at the
Jeez.
age of 47 years old.
I heard rumours ages ago that he was fighting against it, but the thing is, we've had Dio. He had with Tony Iommi. Sorry, there's a mouthful. Hold on, let me just have a sip of this. Just
Take a deep breath, compose
sorry,
your feelings.
that's better. A bit of Jack Daniels. It goes down a tree. Right.
I'll drink to that.
Yeah, you will. But basically, where was I talking about?
You were going on talking about how Frank Watkins' cancer was at one point kind of in the news, but I guess it kind of faded
you're
into
hoping, you hear about Tony hopefully making a good recovery, but you also in the back of your mind think of like Dio and all these other people who just didn't make it past, and the fact it was a big shock. He was only young.
47
and
is young, man.
It is, and what we got to do is we just got to, as I said, we've toasted them, and
we'll see you on the other side at one point.
See you on the other
guys.
side, but they're immortalised in their music.
Forever,
so
yeah.
Motorhead, Obituary. If you really want to tribute them, put it in your record player as soon as you finish listening to us. Go
Turn
on
it
about
up to 11.
That's right, and just bang your fucking head, because that's the way you tribute these people.
Exactly.
They put their life and soul and heart, and it is immortalised on these records.
Crank up their memories.
Especially with Obituary, the bass lines, the breakdowns. If it wasn't for him putting those in, the sound is so heavy.
Hey man, we've talked about the drummer and the bass player, the main rhythm sections for the driving part of metal.
Yes.
It's quite poignant in my eyes as a bass player.
Yes. Speaking from it,
imagine that's a solid rhythm backing band right there. Phil the Animal and Frank Watkins.
Can you imagine them fucking rocking out up there?
There we go.
Well, to be honest, I'm an atheist.
Hey dude, let's try and keep some kind of halo above this.
Yeah. But no, talking about that, you just got to think about the lineup on there. You got the old Dimebag, you got all these other people out there, Dio and
Hendrix, man.
Hendrix. You just go back even further. You got Bon Scott and everything.
Oh,
that's our fantasy.
Pete Steele.
Oh yeah, I miss him so fucking much. When he done Carnival.
Yeah.
I was absolutely gutted with my best friend. Me and my friend was meant to go, and we were going out with some not very nice people at the time.
Okay.
And we were just about to walk out the door and all that, and something kicked off between him and his other person he was with, who's we're no longer with.
Okay.
And we ended up in a situation where we missed Carnival. Or Carnival, yeah. And it was his last ever one. Apart from Carnival point of view.
Yeah.
But I was glad that I saw Wacken.
Yeah, you saw Type Negative, right?
That, I believe, from memory, it was fantastic. It was really awesome to see him. I think it was Wacken 2009 or something.
Right.
It escapes me. But that was, to my memory, the last time that he had that kind of show.
Right.
And Jesus Christ, it was absolutely awesome to go out on the high and everything. But anyway, we're going completely, to that, a different direction to where we're heading right now, which is
our main subject of the show.
This is about the Paris attacks on the evening of the 13th of November 2015. This is just our reactions as previously stated information at the time. Our thoughts go to all the victims, especially this time of year. This is just our reaction close after these attacks, so emotions were running high. Now on with the main story.
Right,
for the month,
as I said, this is the elephant in the room. This is what everyone in the community are talking about. We just like to take a moment right now, just think about putting it as across as best we possibly can, our opinions of the situation and disgusting actions that happened in Paris. This is when we done our last podcast. It was just after that, so this is recorded a couple of weeks. I think it's 2 weeks after.
Yes.
So there is still a lot of stuff going around. It was disgusting. Words cannot put in of the devastation that the aftermath of what has actually come out in the papers, podcasts, radio stations, of the heroic actions of a lot of people in that situation. As I said, we're not trying to step on politics and all that, because that's not what we're about. But this is our Pearl Harbor. This is when they went into a music venue, and Eagles of Death Metal, they are the hard rock scene, and to be honest, I've never really listened to them.
I like their first single.
Yeah.
I want you so bad, I want you so good.
Okay.
I thought the video was funny as well. They had Jack Black and Dave Grohl. And,
I might need to check it out, but not because of this situation. It's just, I've always found solitude in my temple, and my temple is a venue with live music, with great people around me. Whether they're my musician friends or my friends, family, whatever. You walk into it, it's non-judgmental. You be who you are, and having the thought of having some assholes, some wankers, I can't even, there's not any English word that can denounce them as much as the hatred and venom I want to put over on this podcast, how I feel, coming in and literally mowing people down. And I was awake when it came, because I was actually editing the last episode
when the whole news broke.
When the whole news broke of all this, and I was in communications with you as well during the time.
We were back and forth for quite a while as the whole thing unfolded.
It was like, what the fuck was the main statement? And the more things came out, the more it's like, the toll went up and up and up, and the details after. I'm welling up thinking about this because recently there was a video, and I know you saw it today, of the Eagles of Death Metal, and
actually coming out for the first time since the incident and speaking about it.
Please check out Vice. I believe
it's hosted on their YouTube channel.
Yeah. Brave. Whatever you can think about, instinct takes over. From what they communicated over, they got split up. The lead singer, I forget his name.
Jess Hughes.
He had a girlfriend that was in the crowd. He was searching through. There was people hiding behind. One of it was there was a stack of stage equipment, and the explosion came off, and the stack fell on these people, and they actually saved their lives because the bomber was right next to him. You hear these stories, and you just think
it's surreal. You can't imagine the horror of actually witnessing that firsthand.
I heard BBC radio, and they had a person on there, and this brave guy, actually jumped onto his girlfriend and shielded her whilst these guys are done, and the only thing you could do is play dead. I saw a video.
Did you see the picture? Sorry to interrupt, but did you see the picture of actually inside the Bataclan theatre of all the bodies laid out?
I haven't seen. I don't think
I wouldn't advise. Yeah, I wouldn't advise.
I
saw. But it's a haunting. It's just a haunting image.
It's genocide. It's it's
so strange though. I mean, we're not kind of. We have decensored a lot. Desensitized.
It takes a lot to shock, because you got these.
And we're used to seeing images of this nature from the news all throughout our life. You know, I mean, whether it's about like the Canary Islands war or something, or whether it's about when Afghan and Iraq was happening, whether it was about the 9/11 attacks. We saw the devastation and we saw the bodies, and we've also, taking into consideration everything that's happening in Syria and Beirut and multiple countries throughout the world. There's so many stories that we could actually highlight in light of what's happened to the attacks in Paris.
The thing is, when people are in war, and seriously, I got help a hero on back of my van, the flyer always, the men and women who go out and do that are a million. I could never do that. They are brave, and
heroes.
Yeah, true heroes. And whether you agree with the politics behind it, doesn't matter. They are brave. And the thing is, this wasn't on a battlefield. This was in our fucking church.
Mate.
This was in our fucking place where we felt safe, where fans were. I heard a radio interview on, I think it was LBC, of a person who lived opposite the venue,
right.
and he was saying there was an alleyway.
Yeah.
Where the emergency exit was behind the stage.
Okay, where it just goes out onto street level where they do like their loading in.
And he was
stuff.
looking down. He saw a lot of commotion, and he went down and he tried to help them, and he above it there was someone up there firing and shooting the people as they were exiting. This was a militant action where people were trying to get out, and there were stories of people literally jumping over dead bodies, and he said he tried to take him all in, but of course he's opening the door and the security people are turning around saying you can't because they're coming out, they're shooting people who, and I always have a thing about the human condition. The human condition in my mind is what's in it for me as a primitive thing of all creatures that are very primal. What's in it for me? Everyone's got an agenda, but this shows humanity at the worst, but also at its best. It brings, those people were in trouble within a venue. Let's not take away the cafe and the stadium. We are focusing on the venue because it's close to our hearts. It only makes an impact because it's people like me and you, Joe.
It affects us on a kind of different level other than just an attack on civilization from an extremist group. The fact that it happened in a music venue, which is doesn't matter where the venue is, we've grown up there.
Doesn't matter what the band is either.
We've lived in music venues our entire life.
Yeah.
Like from the age of about 15 years old. I don't think there's a venue in the city of London we haven't not only frequented but played. It's crazy to think that in a place where we not only as fans go to enjoy and to embrace what we truly love and hold dear to ourselves, it's become vulnerable now and a target of terrorism. And
I got from saying a target to terrorism. Myself and yourself went to Lamb of God, Megadeth
down at Wembley Arena,
Children,
Bottom, and Silosis.
And
the very night after the attack, wasn't it? I mean, the attack happened on a Friday, and
Saturday night,
and then we went to go see Megadeth Lamb of God show.
Did anything cross your mind?
Oh yeah, did it? Man, like seriously, my loved one was very in the mindset of I'm worried, I'm concerned.
Yeah.
I don't know what to think.
It was at Wembley as well.
Dude, yeah, exactly, man. Like, it's a really big place. Like, that place can hold thousands of people, and if it can happen in one venue, what's to say it can't happen in another?
Didn't you find it? It's because they are huge bands. Whether for people listening are fans of these bands or not, they are huge bands. And Wembley, I was expecting to be. I've been to Wembley before with similar bands and everything like that.
Yeah, I've seen loads of stuff there.
It's quite, you're like a sardine can most of the time, where you got no room to manoeuvre. It was creepily eerie. It was where people were sitting. Did you not notice?
Oh yeah, it ran through my mind. Multiple things were running through my mind that night, and in particular what you're mentioning, because I thought that the seating actually looked fairly filled out, until you got to kind of midway point back to the arena.
It looked like everyone was pushed forward,
especially the standing audience, because where you and I were positioned, which was pretty much smack dam in the middle where the sound desk was, and we took one look behind us at a point and went, that there's no one there.
Yeah.
And I've got acres of space in front of me to move. Usually, we struggle every time there's a lanky motherfucker who gets in.
Yeah.
And we're
especially
just
me.
And we're just like, oh god damn it, man, how am I going to move? I can't. There's nowhere to go, kind of thing. Not an issue here.
We had issue, and to be honest,
it did run through my mind. Did people actually think, because of the events from the previous night, there was a likelihood of it happening? Because to be honest, man, I mean, you and we were exchanging messages throughout the night on all the different kind of updates from the news, and one of the things that came out was London's now a target.
Yeah.
You know,
well, it's a prime target. It's always been a target. And the thing is, from this, Lamb of God did that next day.
Yeah. Megadeth did it next day. Sylosis did it next day. Children of Bodom did it next day. I think so much respect for them for doing that.
I tell you something. This is where I get a bit pissed off with the fucking people bitching about fucking bands who have pulled out recently. I know there's a few bands.
There's actually quite a host of bands. I mean, Lamb of God have already cancelled the rest of their European dates. Devil You Know have just come out saying they're cancelling their dates. And I think there's about 4 or 5 others. I think Marilyn Manson is continuing his European tour, but he's actually not playing Paris out of respect.
Yeah.
For what happened.
Look, if bands are brave enough, I'm not saying don't play these fucking venues and all that, but if you do, but there is few bands that I can see as a target. And
I wouldn't have put Eagles of Death Metal as one of those bands, though.
That's what I was thinking.
I had no idea that... I don't know whether it was just the theatre. They knew that it was a popular theatre and it was a sold-out show, maybe.
Well, they're kind of... I don't even like calling them they. I don't like even thinking about them being that huge, you know, to be honest. Because if I think... I just think they're fucked up, crazy people, but it's not. It's a group, and that scares the shit out of me.
ISIS.
It's because the decadent type nature of Paris. That was one of the reasons that they theorized it was a target, because, you know, Paris is known to be very much free to, you know, to enjoy football, drinking, have a nice culture of, you know. The thing is, I'm an atheist, and the reason why I believe it is the atrocities that happen are normally in the name of religion, and I think a secular nation, you know, that doesn't believe in other people's opinion are going to be a target for these loons because they believe they're right.
That's just fundamentalism in a nutshell, really. We've all got... There's those pockets and those groups of people that reside in every single type of culture. I mean, whether you want to talk about it from the militant IRA from Ireland, whether you want to talk...
That was religion-based.
Who's the family over in America? The Westboro Baptist Church. You've got those types of fundamentalists. You know, they exist in every type of walk of life.
A very good point. And can I just also say, as much as, you know, I don't want to put down on it. I felt the outcry was beautiful of people, but there were some fucking dickheads and cunts that become very xenophobic and very much, you know, I had this phobia against anyone who looks like they're from a different background. There was a metalhead that I have on my Facebook, and he put a statement up stating that just because he's of a darker skin, right, and he's got a long beard, and he's a metalhead, doesn't mean he's a fucking terrorist. You know, he had to claim that on the status, and he had to battle against people looking at him with a slide of eye. You know, these people, they believe in something, and if you believe it, it's like a mental illness. You know, you can't tell whether someone's got a mental illness by looking at them, and it is. I think religion is a mental illness. I think people who cling on to that kind of mythology. I got more from Spot the Dog about morality of my life rather than...
Yeah, you pulled from better source material.
You know,
but I just
it's a fairy tale. I don't care what other people believe.
I mean, as much as we can state here that, you know, in this specific case, it's religion rooted, but we can't forget that bad people are just bad people, man.
Yeah, from all walks of life.
Yeah,
but if you've got a book that states that it's, you know...
all right, how do you justify all the murderers and convicts currently clogging up jails, actual sick psychopaths? You know, they've got no rhyme or reason to just... Well, this is what I'm trying to say, is that with this case, with ISIS, it's rooted in religion. But like you're talking about, just because there's a Muslim terrorist sect, you can't like tarnish the whole Muslim community with that same brush.
No,
it's like that with this
that.
extremist group. It's just like, just because they're an extremist group that's rooted in religion, you can't now just paint the whole of religion as evil, because there are murderers who are atheists, there are people who don't believe in God or any type of traditions and stuff like that, who are equally bad people. Bad people are bad people.
Yeah,
like they come from, and they can use anything to justify
what I'm actually saying
their
is
horrible, horrendous
You're saying
actions.
that they're people in jail and all that, they don't have justification. The thing is, these people do have justification.
They're using it as their justification.
Yeah, because they're looking for anything. Okay, fair enough. Spot the dog, If you get a lunatic reading one of the things, you can dissect anything. You can look at fairy tales. Fairy tales was a big things, like the Grimm tales and all that.
The original dark shit.
Yeah, exactly. And if that was a religion back in the day, we're talking about old text from absolutely hundreds of years ago, and it is so outdated that really you need these communities to start either modernizing and literally standing up and going, actually, right, I like the Buddhist way of looking at it. I've looked into, they turned around and said, this is what we believe in. This is a set of rules. We may be right, we might not be right. But if you live by these standards, you are a good person. You will become a good person.
Dude, that's every religion.
Yeah, but it is taken out of context because of the texture.
No, it's because of the fundamentalistic approach to the
because the way it can be looked into.
Yeah, it can be interpreted in such any ways. Like they say that the text is meant to be taken as the literal word of God. So you've got to follow it literally. And dude, like as we kind of look at it, like I don't kind of look like, I myself, like you, I'm an atheist, but at the same time I'm kind of like, I don't want to commit to that title, because I'm still just like, well, I don't know, like every couple of 100 years we learn a significant amount of information that radically changes our thinking behavior. Like dude, basically I'm just saying I have no problem with religion if people use the morals that it's teaching, the good ways to live one life, a fully healthy, satisfied, fulfilled life. If you're able to take on board these stories, these messages, and use them to the betterment of your life, God bless religion and let it continue to be. However, that's not, as we know, to be the case with these types of individuals. They see it as a literal translation of what they need to do to serve in the afterlife.
But as you were saying about all these religious fundamentalists and all that, and it's not just Muslims, because I've also stepped upon a real distasteful article.
Yeah.
It's about a pastor.
It's in America again, isn't it?
In America, it's got to be...
If it's a pastor, it has to be over in America.
Right. Well, it doesn't have to be.
Well, I know.
Come over here as well.
Take on jobs.
Basically, what he's actually said is victims of Paris attacks were targeted for going to a death metal concert.
This man has clearly never actually heard of the Eagles of Death Metal, has he? He's just made a blatant association with the name.
Christ. But you know something? Instead of... This is what I'm saying about all the fucking xenophobic people that I saw on Facebook, which has
all the cockroaches really do emerge once stuff like this happens,
I know, you
don't they?
really do see the true colours of a lot of people. Look, it's not to do... it's evil fucking people. Evil people can be in all kind of walks of life, but these people just come out, and instead of supporting and instead of going, right, we're going to help people and be part of the cure or the healing process, you get these dickheads that fucking turn around and just go, if they didn't go to his fucking concert, which was death metal, they would be here right now.
They brought it on themselves, people. They brought it on themselves.
And I, you know something, I hope if there is a fucking hell, if I am wrong, which I'm not saying I am going to be right or wrong,
sure.
But if I am wrong and there is a all burning hell with a fucking poker, I hope this guy who
has
fucking says that has a
reservation.
name card. He has a side fucking seat next to Satan as he's being poked rigorously in all the orifice of, they fucking say, with a hot fucking iron. In all fairness, people like...
This cunt who just used this type of a situation to bring forth their
Jesus
own
Christ.
crapping agendas, man. Like, seriously, how much of a leech and a fucking parasite on the tragic events that have happened to so many people.
Right, I've got it up here. It says, when you go to a concert of death metal, someone might get killed. You know you're worshipping death. And then all of a sudden people start dying. Well, you love death so much, you bought the ticket, you're worshipping Satan. Well, let's have some of Satan's religion come in and shoot you.
What?
That is his actual words. I am reading off it right
and that's
fucking
a
now.
pastor.
That is someone who's
That's
meant
a
to be
church
preaching
representative.
love and understanding and forgiveness. His fucking religion is based on a forgiving, martyr, for fuck's sake.
It's like Bill Hicks says, is when like, hey buddy, I don't like what you said about my God. Well, then forgive me.
Yeah, exactly.
Turn
hate,
the other cheek,
the
motherfucker.
thing is, hate breeds hate. That's how I see things. It's an old terminology of basically, there is a way of standing up to actually defend stuff, but it's via love and not hate. Exactly. And I'm sounding like a fucking hippie. I know I've got the long hair, but it's fucking true. The people of Paris, we really, 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 I don't, even if it wasn't to do with a music venue, it would fucking still make me tear up. It would still impact me like the 9/11. I don't know any other stock people, but when I saw that happen and I saw
human
people,
beings are dying,
and
that's it. Bottom line, man.
And people don't deserve it. They've got families, they've got loved ones, and they're
out living their lives peacefully and enjoying it to the max that they can do. And some radical group of extremists come in and say, no, not on our watch.
But then again, did you hear about that satanic group?
Yeah. Oh, geez.
Talking about religion.
I feel so incredibly bad for laughing whilst we're actually talking about something.
We've got to somehow bring a bit of something in here. And this guy here is saying that it's Satan religion is going to come in and shoot you.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
the Satanists go look. If you actually want to talk about rational forgiveness and love, you have to talk to a Satanist nowadays. Yeah. Apparently, because
it's got that fucking bad in religion.
The tables have turned at some point, man.
I feel the fucking Satanists more sympathetic than the fucking Christians.
I'm definitely going to be approaching this group before this cunt here. I'm telling you right now, because as you were saying, in light of the horrific events in Paris, it's heartwarming to see that this was a response from the Satanists, and it was a post made on Facebook by the Satanic Temple Minneapolis chapter.
It's easy for you to say that.
It took me a while to rehearse. I've been saying Metropolis for the last half an hour.
Superman would have saved all those fuckers, or he probably would have killed him. Depends what kind of film you watch.
We need a Superman right now.
Yeah, man. We do.
But this is the status update that they put
from
a
Satanist. Go on.
Yeah. If there is anyone in the Minneapolis area who is Muslim and afraid to leave their home out of fear for some kind of backlash, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We would be glad to escort you where you need to go without advertising our presence. Just big dudes walking you where you need to be. We would also happily accompany you to get some groceries if needed.
That is absolutely fantastic.
Isn't that heartwarming?
This is, it does. It puts everything in perspective. And I'm stating, on the Facebook, we saw a lot of, I saw a lot of shit that I didn't really want to see. And those people are gone. I don't fucking have those people. I keep my friends on Facebook extremely close.
Like-minded souls.
Like-minded souls, because that's what it's all about at the end of the day. We are a community, and all you need to do is have, just look what the fuck's going on, guys. Who cares if bands like Lamb of God... You got Anonymous, a group which I really highly rate. I've been following them for some years.
Okay.
A bunch of hackers.
I think they're a bunch of cunts because they stole my PlayStation ID.
You should fucking get off our system. I told you. But in all fairness, they're raging a war against ISIS.
Are they? How much of a war can you do on the internet?
Oh no! That's what is they looked on Twitter because they've got to communicate somehow.
They've shut down a whole bunch of Twitter accounts. Yeah, thanks to them.
It was
haven't they?
about fucking 40,000 or something.
Shit, really? Was it that much?
Yeah, but they also, they infiltrated plans of Five Finger Death Punch.
What?
Didn't you hear that?
I heard that Five Finger Death Punch were amongst one of the bands no longer continuing their European tour.
They got it from Anonymous. That Anonymous checked all the emails, and one of the actual places they were going to attack, I think it might have been in Germany, I'm not too sure.
Okay.
But one of the actual places where they were going to play was going to be attacked by terrorists. Anonymous was able to actually get that information to Five Finger so they could actually cancel their
Get the fuck out of here.
Seriously. These guys, the thing is, we live in a different age. They are doing their war is strapping some shit on them and believing that they're going to go to a place where they're going to have fucking 70 virgins or whatever a fucking number is.
70 Dungeons and Dragons fans.
Yeah. All greasy. No, I'm not.
I'm just trying to lighten this very somber tone.
Exactly.
I apologise
but
already.
the thing is, that's guerrilla warfare. But the thing is, what their Anonymous is actually doing at the moment, they're using technology because, of course, these people only know one fucking thing, and that's to do their fucking war on the world. I don't give a shit. If you are free thinking and open-minded,
not part of the Islamic State.
Yeah,
you're going to be having a target pointed at you.
Yeah, we all have targets, and I'm not going to go into politics because I don't understand it.
Well,
I hear it from all sides.
I know. I mean, this is just something that's been going around in my head, where it's like I don't know who to trust anymore, or what type of information.
We live in a
what
day
story to make out of it, because there's just so many different sources now coming to light with news stories that just radically make you think differently from what you just heard. Like, I don't know who to trust anymore. I mean, this is where it's getting really dangerous. Where, I think at the moment we can kind of, I guess, get some kind of essence of the truth from certain multiple sources. But at the same time, is it going to start becoming more murky, and you're not going to really understand the full story behind something properly? Especially, considering how hurt everyone is over the recent tragic events, and people actually wanting now to do something about it. Like, you saw everyone's outcry by changing their Facebook profile picture to the French flag, having that filter applied to it.
We've done exactly the same.
I mean, say what you will. I've heard some people be quite cynical about it, about how this isn't actually doing of any productivity towards the horrible things happening. Great, so you've changed, you've shown your support and it's made you feel a bit better. Like, that's a very cynical look at it, as far as I see. Like, don't get me wrong, it's perfectly valid. Like, you're right, it's not doing anything.
I heard the same about the whole situation with Eagles of Death Metal, when they came out and done that interview, and they said, well, it's just a big PR stunt. And I'm like, these guys are bleeding their hearts out to society, hoping that the victims that they saw gunned down, the families of the people gunned down, I know we live in a cynical world at the moment, but sometimes you got to just take a step back. Yeah, those French flags aren't gonna make
solve
any difference.
Any problems.
No, it's just.
But doesn't it show you that there's an outcry of people who want to lend their support and want to do something, but you don't know what to do? I mean, this is the thing. Like, how can we do something against this?
We're doing this right now. We're talking about a situation that's happened, and it's not going to make things better.
Well, no, absolutely. But I'll tell you right now, what we are doing is opening up a conversation, and I'm going to put it to everyone right now. Let's think this through logically to its end game.
Yeah.
What can we do? Well, we've got to first try and understand why this has happened. We've got to understand why this group has done it, and then we've got to find out and follow the trail over how it led to those events. And I think it's through the revelation of that information we can then start to pinpoint where things have gone wrong and how we can address that. And I know that, and I think I'm going to kind of leave it there, because that's a dangerous part of the conversation to start, because now we're actually going to start looking into the politics side of things and how
I don't want to,
arms
because,
are provided and money is exchanged and politicians are kind of
it just
there's a whole host of things that we can talk about
yeah.
in relation to that, but that's not for us to say. That's for better men to look at, and maybe we can open up a conversation about how people are feeling
all we got
about
to
it.
say is, you know, we've spoke about lots of things in this episode. It has not all great, and people have died, but the count I think is around about 130 from this recording, and there is still people critical. It may go up. It probably will go up. I don't like where this world is at the moment. I hope everyone listening to us is going to be safe. I hope me and you are going to be safe.
See, hope can only get us so far. We've got to start doing something. We've got to get more actively involved, start reading more and getting more informed on the subject matter, and we've got to start making proper differences so that we can ensure this doesn't continue to happen.
And
I mean,
feel,
dude, all throughout history of human life, there's just bad people. And it's impossible to safeguard against them all the times in all eventualities. But, you know, when it comes to these kind of things, we've got to find at least ways to minimize and deal with it, handle it, and resolve it in the
knowledge
right way.
of religion and knowledge of all that, it becomes, because if you cast people out because of their belief and all that kind of stuff, I know, you know, I was doing a bit of it earlier, but that's just because I'm quite passionate. Religion is a very difficult subject. I don't cast people aside though because what they believe in. I don't cast them aside. If you're an arsehole, you're an arsehole. If you're a nice person, you're a nice person. I don't give a shit about what's behind
the
your belief
tendencies.
But the thing is, I think the knowledge, you are correct. You got to also find out about, you know, if you are biased, if you are worried about Muslims, just look online, read the people,
get deeper into it. Don't just take a snapshot of the surface
Don't think
area
what you see on
information.
TV and what is on the fucking news. And you know,
again,
the Sun, 1 in 4 Brits who are Muslims.
Don't even go into that clickbait rubbish that's been circulating.
Propaganda
people's
bollocks from people who don't understand and who want to make headlines. That is not true. What is true is this opening a conversation, using your eyes and your brain and your ears to actually take in what is actually these people standing for. These aren't actual Muslims. These are people who are fundamentalists. You get that on all kinds of... Hitler was a fundamentalist, if you really look at it.
And Germany's really trying to earn back that reputation since that occurrence, you know. That's a constant shadow lingering over them, man. But you're not going to say all Germans are assholes, are you?
Oh, no, but he wanted the Aryan race, which was a very religious backing of Christianity. He actually read something and he thought, yeah, that's what I want, the Aryan race. And, you know, he went against the Jews. That is a religious set. So he is based upon his belief, because he didn't like the Jews because, okay, they took a lot of, you know, I'm not going to go into, you know, the Second World War.
Yeah, sure.
Everyone should know it, and I hope people do know it. But what I'm actually stating is there's fundamentalists in all brackets of life. It is up to us to actually get the knowledge behind us, open conversations, open our minds to basically accepting, you know, if you are going around, turn around to Muslims and being nasty to them because of their belief, of the way they looked, because of what they wear and everything, those people will eventually, hate breeds hate, and they will eventually look outside the box, and the outside box is not going to be nice because it may be towards ISIS. If we embrace these people, if we call them brothers and sisters, and as a human being and human, you know, society, just go, okay, fair enough, we don't believe in the same stuff, but you're still human and I'm still human, and you know,
how can you put that rationale against extremists like this? Like, is there
I'm
a
not
point
talking about
where
that. I'm not saying
talk
about
to
the
these people?
extremists are extremists because of what has happened. And you said, you know, if you look into history and all that, you don't know because of the war, you know, you might have created a generation or whatever. That's going down that kind of route. But what I'm stating is the people who are feeling isolated, the satanic group that you were actually stating had a fair point. We want you to come to us if you are finding things difficult. That is opening their hand. Instead of that fucking preacher and all these hate mongers and the fucking Sun, for fuck's sake.
And readers of.
Yeah. Well, mostly. Don't cast everyone.
Yeah, okay. Fair point.
It's so easy for everyone to do that. But
words can get you into trouble pretty quickly if you don't think about it.
Yeah, but what we're actually stating is you just got to open your mind a bit. This is our opinions. The atrocities that happened in Paris, we're still getting the stories. I'm afraid that's how we've got to leave it. If we find any updates, we'll tell you, but it's happened now. Support, as much as possible, each other, and be safe, because that's all we've got in this world. We've got our music, we've got our community, and we've got our families.
And it's going to be taken away from us due to people like this if we don't start having a conversation about what we can do to stop it. And I don't think those conversations should be said in an angry, hateful manner.
No.
It should be out of an intellectual, loving, embracing way. And maybe this will be somehow, when we look back on it, a significant event that took place that made everyone take a second look at themselves and the world and make a realization that it's time to participate and it's time to start making a voice heard about what we truly need to start doing. And
preach it, my brother.
That's about all I think we can both say on the matter.
Yep, and whatever religion you believe in, we just bless those that have been lost. There, may have not known them. There was one that was actually taken away. I've just got to state, because I do know that few people actually do know he was.
Are you talking about the merchandise manager, Nick Alexander?
Yeah, I do know a lot of people within the scene that actually have been in communication and do actually know him.
Personal friends also.
Yeah, we have to say, because of course
he lost his life in the tragic events.
Yeah, and one of the statements that Eagles did actually say was, he was wounded, but he never told them. He was trying to help people, and that is a hero. That is a person that
in their dying moments still tried to do better for the world.
Yeah,
and his friends.
He was 36 years old, and all he was doing was selling merchandise for a band, and he was one of the victims. He is one of 130. Let's just put that into consideration right now. And we've just got to say goodbye. Okay, it's on a low tone, but hopefully, I don't know what our words do. They probably do absolutely nothing. Hopefully, as we said, it opens up a conversation. It's our thoughts alone for the victims of the Paris tragedy and all the people affected in the news stories today.
Absolutely. And with that, we're going to wrap up this episode.
I think so.
But I just want to make everyone listening aware that we are very proud to be associated with the Independent Voice right now, and the news stories here have been covered by them, and they've actually got a whole host of news articles going around at the moment.
Let's brighten it up a bit.
Yeah, we just don't have time right now within the time frame of this show to go into details.
The news stories at the moment have been very much on our minds, but the thing is, there is other things going on in the world, and the Independent Voice is a place where we find is not just great for album reviews, but also for the latest news. And Joe, you've got a few headlines that you can check out on our e-zine.
Absolutely. I wish we had more time so we could cover each one of these stories more in depth. But if you head on over to the Independent Voice e-zine website, you'll be able to read in depth about Tara B releasing a new music video. Arch Enemy also releasing a new video. It's in preparation for their tour with Nightwish and Amorphis coming up soon. Ghost have announced the London show, and if you didn't catch it, Devin Townsend actually wrote a brand new track live there on Toontrack's website. Yeah, I'm sorry I missed that. Hopefully it will be made available for us to kind of catch up on. Moving on, other things being covered by the Independent Voice are Entombed AD announced a new album. You can read up about that over at the website. Skunk and Nancy are returning with a new single. I'm quite excited about that.
Yeah.
Oh, excellent, man. We've got to talk about that in future episodes to come. Other things being covered, Monster Magnet are actually planning on coming back for a one-time only UK show celebrating the first 10 years of their material recorded for AM Records.
I bet you've creamed yourself slightly on that one.
I can't wait to book tickets for that. Yeah. That's going to be really great.
I'm with you on that one.
Sixth have reformed. They reformed back in 2014, but they're actually releasing a new song now, which, again, you can go check out the Independent Voice for more details. And amongst everything I've gone through, there's a whole host of updates for a bunch of festivals happening right now. We've got Incineration, we've got Hellfest, we've got Doom over London, we've got Winter Rocks, we've got Bloodstock, we've got Hell over Hamburg, we've got Damnation, and of course the Hard Rock Hell Festival.
Did you say Death Crusher as well? Because that's another one that looks really good.
Death Crusher's another one?
Yeah, Death Crusher 2015.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please head over to the Independent Voice eZine website and check out all of these stories in more depth.
Right, yes. The Independent Voice, the website is www.theindependentvoice.org. You can find out from news, reviews, features, and all the other stuff you want to actually find out.
Including our own little show.
That's right. Anyway, it's been an absolute pleasure. I know it's been a bit of a downer, but hopefully next month we can actually bring you some better news from the rock, metal, and punk community.
Hey, it's Christmas coming up. There's bound to be some cheer coming our way soon, right?
We need some cheer, don't we?
Oh, jingle balls.
Yeah, that's right. Anyway, you take care. That's the Monthly Itch. So, I have been Rich.
And I've been Joe.
And it's been an absolute pleasure. And please stay safe. We'll speak to you soon.
Take care.
And that's all, folks.